wherever you're streaming them. That's fine. What up, Periscopers? 18 people. How you guys doing? KUHSdenver.com is the radio station I'm at, online radio here in Denver. Gonna be talking sports here in a little bit. Got 7 minutes at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's 12 p.m. here in the Denver metro area. I don't know where all you are. I have a few things I'm going to be talking about. I am Lenny. I'm going to be having another Lenny on at 12:15. His name's Lenny Milnick. So we'll be on with him. You want to talk Broncos, Nuggets, New York Giants, Redskins, Bengals? What do you want to talk? You want to talk running? You run. You smoke weed? You want to talk weed? Let's talk weed. Talk politics. We're on Ustream as well, so look us up, KUHSdenver.com. We're streaming live on Ustream, live on Periscope from my personal Periscope as well. Trying to get some things here written down so I'm ready. I'm a lefty. Are you lefties? What do you feel about left-handed people? What do you feel about baseball? I know on the other side of the world they play cricket, soccer. In India, cricket's huge, and soccer's huge in Europe and all that. What up? What up? What up? Se habla español? Speaking English here in Colorado. Got my garment. Boom. Can't see it. Boom. Garment. Oh, crap. I can't see it. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Garmin Vivo Active. It's what I run with. It's a GPS watch. Go get one. They're awesome. If you walk too, or if you hike, any of that stuff. Even if you're walking around your city. Oh, that's crazy. Got 4 minutes left till we get this underway. Damn pen crapped out on me. Ustream, what's up, Ustream? Oh, my tits aren't sweaty. Whataburger. You guys know about Whataburger? They don't have them here in Colorado. It's in Texas. Okay, I go. What?
Make sure and have that up
Have what up? Oh yeah, yeah, I know.
so it'll
I know.
catch
Yeah.
him on the
I know.
phone.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Once again, this is the Lenny Sports Talk Show with Lenny, once again, here in the Denver Mile High City. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone here in the local thin air where your body hurts, but you train well and you go down to sea level and you kill it. So welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Lenny Sports Talk Show, brought to you by Zoot Sports, G-Wiz Computers, and also a special shout out to Finish Line and Brooks Running for the great invitation they gave me to do a commercial slash, well, it's not a commercial, it's my legs are being displayed on Finish Line to buy the Brooks shoes. So special thanks to Finish Line, Zoot Sports, and all the other people who have helped me through running this year. Special shout out to Roadrunner Sports too. Those guys really handle things well, and handle me well, but they have great deals. Check out Roadrunner Sports, also Flatirons Running Company, Boulder Running Company, RNL, I forget the Parker, run by Trent Burney. Special shouts out to his running. I'm gonna be pissed now that I don't know it. RNL, KNL. I'll look it up right now. It's a running company in Parker, ran by Trent Burney once again. So let me double check here. I can't even get my computer running that good, but whatever. Once again, this is December 24th, the day before, of course, Christmas. The day that we used to always love as kids, and now we dread as adults because we have to buy a bunch of crap that we don't want and we don't need. No, I'm just kidding. It's a fabulous time. Gift of giving. You give, you receive. Some people say that you're supposed to give all year, and I believe in that too. I pretty much do the same thing. I live by that. It's a Native American tradition to live, give all year, and to hopefully receive all year for the giving you give. And I'm a big on working hard, and you'll receive things. So if you work hard, whether it doesn't even translate, say you're working hard at work, yeah, you're working hourly. And you're working your tail off, chances are you'll get good karma and you'll get paid back somehow. What if a Secret Santa comes out of nowhere and gives you goods? Someone recognizing the quality of person you are, the quality of work you throw down in this world. Here in America, of course, where it's really hard to get along, 1% of us are poor, of course, and 99% are rich and all that, or wealthy in some instances, and the NFL doesn't have to pay any taxes, so go ahead and go figure that one out. But we have a lot of things going on. Oakland Raiders playing tonight. I'm not a Raiders fan, but I'm a fan of Charles Woodson. Retiring after this year, he announced his retirement. It's going to be a great send-off. He's supposed to play offense tonight. We'll see if that goes down. I think they're playing the San Diego Chargers. I'll have to relook on that. I just had it. I should have written that down, but I'm live on Periscope, so I can't check my phone for the actual stats and what's going on tonight. Also on today's show, I'd like to bring up that we're going to be having Lenny Milnick, fantasy sports blog talker. He contacted me on actually Twitter, and he was like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "No, have you been through Denver?" He said, "No." And I said, "Yeah, it does sound familiar. Maybe I do sound familiar to him. I don't know." And then he said, "David Archuleta. Maybe it was American Idol." So I said, "Yeah, David Archuleta." Kind of putting Archuletas on the map. I actually called into Amazon or one of those places where they have the PayPal or PayPal. I called into one of them, and they had the Indian people on the other line, and she was actually starstruck, even though I was not David Archuleta and was not related to him in any way, but she kept talking about him as if I was and saying, "Are you related to him?" "Oh, David Archuleta." I think she really liked the kid, but maybe he's a good singer. But I am a better singer than him, actually. 1, 2, 3. Oh, fa la la, fa la la la. Fat Santa's coming to eat all your ga la la. Fat boy Santa's coming for your stuff. He's coming for your food. Hide your big fat muffs. How you like that? Better than David Archuleta? I think so. I think everyone is turning around on The Voice. They hit the button and they turn around. I heard a joke, something about that you're on The Voice, but actually you farted, and it's something about it being a really bad one, so they all turned around and you felt like you were on The Voice. Yeah, it's kind of a stupid joke, but it reminds me of that right now. So we have NFL up. Yeah, we do have San Diego at Oakland tonight. I don't know what my score in there. I just hope Charles Woodson gets an offensive touchdown. That'd be awesome. Monday night. Broncos at home against the Bengals. I have the Broncos 22, the Bengals 16. AJ McCarron. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of any backup in the league until Tim Tebow gets another shot, because it's absurd that he hasn't been back in the league. And yeah, they give him the worst chance to lose, or they give him the offense to lose, is what they did here in Denver. And then they tried him out as a running back at the Jets, or whenever they brought him in, they tried to make him a running back. It was awful what happened up there to him. And broke 2 ribs. A lot of people saying he needs to change positions. But he tried that. They tried that with the Jets. I don't know if anyone follows it. People, it's funny. People comment on stuff, but they don't really follow it. And it's pretty obnoxious sometimes. I seen a comment the other day saying, oh, Seahawks are doing good against 500 teams. Well, guess what? They beat the Steelers, and they in a shootout. And, Seahawks are not known for their offense, but they beat them in a shootout. And they also clobbered the Vikings, a team well above 500 this year. Given they seem to falter against really good teams, Packers and the Seahawks both beat them at home. But, they're still a good team, regardless if they tend to falter against winning record teams or not. Still a good team that the Seahawks beat, actually handed it to them. And then they also beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that's getting a lot of praise this year. Some people saying it's going to be the rematch, Seahawks. But you know what? I got my eyes set on Carolina and Arizona right now in the NFC. I know Seahawks are a close third in the whole scheme of things, if the way you look at it, because they're going to have to take the hard route, and they could lose any of those games on the road. They could lose the first game in Washington, or they can take it like they did in 2012, I believe, 2013, when they beat Atlanta. Then they lost at the Falcons. And then the Falcons went to the NFC Championship game, of course, to lose. But, yeah, we'll see what happens over there. In the NFC, it's pretty stacked right now. You have just some awesome teams going at it. And, who knows what's going to go on in the NFC South as well. But I have a call coming in from New York. I think that's Lenny. Let me turn him up, see if I can get him going. Hello?
Yep, it's Lenny, okay. I may be a little early, but, better early than late.
Yeah, better early than late. That's what I'm talking about. So how you doing, mister?
I'm disappointed that you weren't the guy from American Idol, but, you actually sound pretty good.
Thanks. So I should be on The Voice, right?
Right?
Yeah.
When you sing up a storm, but you're in trouble.
So how's the weather up there in New York? I heard it's been warm.
I tell you what, it's crazy. And you know something even worse than it's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
If people are crazy.
Yeah.
People are absolutely crazy. Everybody's complaining about it. I got my windows open and it's 72 degrees and it's Christmas. You can believe it? What do you want from me?
Right?
People tell me, I don't know for you in the summer. And they said, okay, give me a break. I always say that on July 4th, if it snows, we had a problem. And right now, so it's 65 degrees and people are complaining.
Yeah, I would love it to be in a cold, or a place that's supposed to be cold. Oh, because Denver's cold in the winter too, and it to be warm. I love it when it's 70s here in Denver and people are like, oh, it's not supposed to be that way. We need the snow. We need this. I'm like, well, that'll come eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're all creature of habit.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what to do.
Yeah.
I can't watch a football game at 70 degrees. That's ridiculous. How am I going to do this? I look out my window. I live on a golf course, and I see all these people playing golf. They don't even want to play, but they go, we got to go out and play.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what to do. Right.
Well, yeah, that's great though. In Arizona, it's been like 55 and stuff. So I was seeing on the Arizona news that they were saying, oh, New York is 65 today and Arizona's 55. What's going on with the weather? Blah, blah, blah. Well, stuff happens, things are different in different places at certain points. It has to do with the jet stream and who knows what's going on. You know, it's just the Earth, the way it spins, and all that good stuff. But in Colorado, it's been kind of snowy and kind of sticks around in the wintertime, especially when it's only gets about 35 out. But I don't know if you've ever been here. It's a lot of thin air, definitely a higher altitude, harder to run. I know you posted a video of yourself running 7 miles. If you'd like to elaborate on that.
Yeah, a little misleading on the video because my wife took the video from, I think we were on the 15th floor of a hotel.
Yeah.
I think that was done at Daytona Beach, and you know you don't get. It was either that or was that the Goodyear blood shot this thing? I don't know, but it looks like it's a very short distance. When in actuality, if you go over the map, 1 inch equals one, then it's about 7 miles.
Great. But yeah, I know you were saying that if you can give a little history about yourself, so you can my listeners can understand who you are.
A little history.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was born. I was born, and and I continued on. It was a little tough on that birthday because the following day, people were just looking at me and saying stupid things, and I said, "Why is everybody talking to me like I'm an idiot? I've been here for a day." And I go and goo goo gaga gaga. I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with all these people?
Right.
And then on day 3, how much you want me to start?
Go ahead, man. Hey, we could do a real quick. When you were born, we got when you were born. Now then we can skip along to what high school, where you grew up, and then we can go to your online radio stuff and.
Yes. Well, I've been a star all my life. Anyway, let's get serious for a minute.
We don't have to be serious. We could be lighthearted. We could say whatever we want. This is internet radio.
Well, I can't tell you the truth when you talk about my life because the most important day of my life was supposed to be when my kids were born, and I got one of them sitting in the other room. I'm afraid he's going to listen because I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you. And go ahead. Excuse me a sec. Mark, can you go outside and get the garbage? It was snowing. I do the pre-shovel. Thank you. We do the pre-shovel. I do the pre-shovel sometimes before it snows. Mm-hmm. But I guess my claim to fame was in 1993. I did the first radio show that pertained to both fantasy, they called it rotisserie sports. And as I think about it, and I look at the landscape of fantasy sports today, to think that I was the first one to do that show kind of impresses me a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then, I'm on Sirius Radio and Blog Talk Radio and your show, and cool. I just all day long. This is what I've been my entire life. I've been a sports nut, and I'm very fortunate to be able to talk sports. From the moment I get up, I play with my baseball cards, and there you go. I'm only 68 years old. So.
Right on, 68 years young. So go ahead and give us what your website is, and go there and check it out.
Well, you know what? It's supposed to be a website, but it's really not.
Right.
It's a fraternity.
Okay.
I call it a fraternity, and it's really terrific. www.lennymelnickfantasysports.com. That's how it started. Mm-hmm. But the fantasy sports now has become secondary to just passionate sports fans in any sport, and have a section where you come on, and this is really great. They come on, and I say, introduce yourself. Well, I expected people to say, my name is Donald Duck, and I live in a pond. I don't know what I expect. Right? Instead, I got people saying, it's great. My name is Charlie. I live in Cincinnati. I'm a big Philly fan. I got 2 kids. My wife doesn't. Over 150 people have posted a very serious and genuine introduction, and it made me cry when I started reading it. I couldn't believe it. Lenny, the need for a fraternity to feel part of a club. Even if it's Sons of Anarchy, they want to be part of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating, and we go on there. We help each other with fantasy sports. We help each other with daily sports, and also more important of all, we do what has been historically, yeah, and arguably the great thing about sports is my player is better than your player, my team is better than your team. And we just talk about sports in general, and it's a passion that I have yet to see, and I've been so pleased with the turnout and just the overall part of the whole thing. So it's been a very exciting time for me.
Yeah, that's great. I was actually listening to your last Blog Talk Radio, and you were talking about how homegrown players, like, why do people kind of focus on that and act like that's such a big deal? And oh, they're homegrown, we got to do this and do that. And I'm kind of the same way, but on another, I'm kind of feeling the whole. They should have homegrown teams instead of they pull people out of college. There's two Californians and two Midwesterns on the Colorado Rockies, and everyone's kind of mixed up. They're not actually from here. What do you think about holding open tryouts for baseball?
And just have it should be like a college then, right?
Right.
So in other words, New York will be composed of just New Yorkers, and Colorado just people. It's interesting. I was listening to a sports report this morning, and the talk was that the St. Louis Cardinals were interested in Odorizzi, and Odorizzi is from St. Louis. Well, what does that do? What does that mean? Is he going to have his high school class show up at the games now? And the attendance will be padded by 18 people? No, I don't think that. So what could it be? He's in St. Louis. He came from St. Louis.
Right.
That makes it. I don't even know why that's ever made. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that they kind of, because it's rare, or it's not rare anymore, but they like that feel, that home. The crowd's really rooting for him, like that other guy that was on. I think he's on the Cardinals. He hit a home run. Didn't he hit a home run in the World Series or something like that? Or he had a great World Series, or am I thinking of someone else? But there was a guy that
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a homegrown player.
Hit a home run. He said the other guy hit a home run. Now I'm gonna. I don't even know how to look that up on Google.
Yeah, I don't know.
The other guy hit a home run. Where would I find that? I don't even remember. But I know what you're talking about. Everybody's with their root for the home team.
Right.
And of course you got to root for the players who came from your state and your neighborhood. And that's a bunch of poppycock, because I'll tell you something. People ask me what team I root for, and I used to be a big fan. I say now, the day that the Yankees root for me is the day I'll root for them.
Right. But you're a Mets fan, I heard, right?
I don't really know.
Oh, you know, you're in between?
I don't know. Look, I grew up in the 50s with the Yankees and Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Right.
And that was era, Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. I mean, everybody knows that. And you picked your friends based upon what team you rooted for.
Right.
I was never friends with a Giant fan. I hated all the Yankee fans, and all my buddies were Brooklyn Dodgers fans. So now I grew up. I don't know. The Dodgers left. I became a Mets fan, and then because of New York, and I'm some of the Yankees have been pretty nice to me. So I root for I guess I root for all the New York teams, and when they play each other, I have to figure out who wants it more, and then that's the team I root for.
Yeah, right on. I grew up watching, because here in Colorado, when some of my first memories of baseball, we didn't have a team, and so the Rockies were inaugurated in '93, I believe. But before that, we would get WGN, which is a Chicago network, and we would get TBS, I believe, the Atlanta ones. So
TBS in Atlanta.
Yeah, I would get
TBS in Atlanta.
Right, I would get the Braves. So naturally, that was the only team I had to see on TV because we didn't have a team yet. So I liked Dave Justice, Bobby Cox. I liked all the pitchers they had over there. I was an Atlanta Braves fan for at least 3 years until the Rockies came about. And then I was a full-blown Rockies fan for years. And now it's like, I want to watch the games, but when you watch baseball and you got a team that torments your brain like the Colorado Rockies, it's hard to watch. And I'm still a supporter of the team. It's hard to watch them with the leads they've given up in the end and stuff like that. And the injuries to Tulo and all that stuff that was gone, and the injuries to you were talking about Cargo, that he's actually a cheap deal out there. I know the Cardinals were in discussion with him. I'd like to see Matt Holliday back. Maybe they can do a swap Matt Holliday for Cargo, and just hope that Cargo don't get injured over there in the Cardinals.
Well, I think it may take a little bit more than that, but
Right.
I definitely understand how difficult it could be a Colorado Rocky fan. You've got on one end with all the offense and Tulo breaking down and Carr breaking down and the pitchers breaking down. And I talked to Dan O'Dowd about a year ago, former general manager for Colorado. And I said, why don't you just look? You're not going to get any free agent pitchers signing with Colorado, no matter how much money you give them. So why don't you just trade all the hitters, right? And then just get free agent, trade all the hitters, and then re-sign hitters in the off season. Every free agent wants to come to Colorado, and then build pitching staff that way. And of course, he laughed at me, thought I was an idiot, but I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and also have Munford a couple, or I don't know, if it was a year or two ago. He actually started reading some of the social media stuff. And he told a fan, this is the owner of the Rockies, that if you don't like the product, don't show up to the games. And he's taking a lot of heat, and you got people just hating him left and right around here. And O'Dowd, of course, isn't with us anymore. You have Burdage over here trying to run things, and he's trying to do different things, which I really appreciate about him just trying to mix it up. And he traded Tulo, and Tulo said, "Oh, I seem blindsided." Well, he gave him the best opportunity to win. I know he wanted to go to the Yankees. But at least he sent him somewhere where it gave him the best opportunity to win a World Series, because the Yankees didn't make it. And I don't know. I just think the Rockies, our stadium sells out a lot. They went and invested all this money in this, what is that, a bar way upstairs. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of crazy where the Colorado Rockies are right now. It's just kind of I think we just have gotten lucky over the years, and we haven't really had solid players and a solid squad. We got lucky in 2007. What did you think about our run in 2007?
Well, I'll tell you something. The entire ball club, the entire organization, for the last couple of years, it's been the Tulowitzki and Cargo era, and it's clear that it's not working. And thank goodness this year they've decided to totally break it up, of course, with trading Tulowitzki. And now I really do believe that Cargo is going to go. A lot of people think that one of the reasons that Cargo is untouched is because of his contract. He only has 2 years left on his contract with less than $20,000 a year, which in today that's chump change today. But I think they got a good-looking bunch of prospects coming up. One I saw in the Arizona Fall League in Ramil Tapia, who looks like a nice-looking player. And I think we'll see a new era in Colorado. Trevor Story, they wind up being the opening day shortstop if Jose Reyes is suspended. And I think you'll see an influx of young offensive talent, supplemented by free agent signings in the offseason. And it's all about hitting pitching, and that's what the Rockies are trying to do. When they're trading Carlos Gonzalez, they got a nice bunch of pitchers in the Toronto deal. So let's see if they can finally build something based on pitching staff and maybe some good young hitters that'll start to flourish.
Yeah, it seems like the Colorado Rockies are built on the magical. I don't know if it's the era up here, but sometimes Colorado teams, they kind of get that magical thing like John Elway had at the end of games, and of course Colorado Rockies in 2007. It just seems like a lucky place to be if you're into sports for certain runs. If you on runs, Denver Nuggets have been on runs, and they've been a streaky team. And I just wish we would have like a solid team. But I'd like to, now that we're talking about pitching, I'd like to get your take on the humidor. Have you heard about the humidor here in Colorado? We put our balls in a freezer type thing, and it makes it humid. What do you think about that?
I've heard about it. I don't claim to be a scientist, so I can't really.
I just think it makes the balls heavier, is in my opinion. It makes the balls heavier, and to me, how is that any good?
Yeah, well, that's not good. That's obviously that's why I run so slow. It's definitely not good. All right. But the point is that when listen, you say what you want about the humidor and all the doors and everything, but when you got a pitching staff with Jordan Lyles and Chris Rusin, and it's awful. It's awful. They just got to get better pitchers. and hope for the best. So I don't really know that much about the humans. I thought they stopped that thing, didn't it?
No, they still
Did
have
they
that
bring
going. They still have that going.
It's
And
still going?
yeah, I think
thought
they
they
should
shut it
just.
down when it was.
Well, I think it hurts the Rockies because our pitching has always been, oh, we got the best pitchers this year, and it never works out. I think it hurts our hitters because the ball being more heavier doesn't carry it. I don't know. And our ace is Jorge De La Rosa. That's our ace right there. People make fun of that all the time, but yeah, it's in the
Well, not
inside
bad,
joke.
but you know what's going to happen? Here's what happens. I think it's very tough for any free agent pitcher to come to Colorado or to get any pitcher in Colorado, to play for Colorado via the trade route. What they're starting to do now, and we'll see it, is they get some pitchers, John Gray, you'll see up here. You'll see a kid named Jeff Hoffman, who they got from Toronto. You'll see a kid named Kyle Freeland, left-handed pitcher. So they got some good young pitchers. And what they're trying to do is teach these youngsters, as they're coming up through the system, teach them how to pitch in Coors Field. And the way you pitch in Coors Field is not necessarily to try to blow the ball past the batter. The way you pitch in Coors Field is to keep the batters off balance.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it. So they're looking for that kind of pitcher, not necessarily the guys who throw 98, 90 miles, 99, but they're looking for these pitchers who have the stuff that can keep the batters off balance. And if you can do that, then if you're not getting a good piece of the ball ain't going nowhere. And so that's what I kind of like about the new breed of Colorado pitchers. And wait till you see this kid, Kyle Freeland. I like him a lot. Doesn't have a great strikeout ability, but he gets the batters to be off balance. I like him, and I like this kid Hoffman that they got from Toronto as well.
Oh yeah, and on the offensive side, you have Nolan Arenado, a bright spot for the Colorado Rockies. We're going to stay on pitching for a minute. What do you think about lasers for the strike zone?
You know what? I'm a what do you call it? I'm one of these guys. I don't like all these changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're not going to need umpires at all. You're not.
Right.
You don't even need fans.
Pitch clock.
Baltimore. Who needs anything? You don't need umpires, right? You don't need anything. Let's just play. Are you kidding me? No, I really. There's something about having an umpire.
Right.
So even if they have that laser system, whatever they call it,
right.
Are they going to still have umpires?
Mm-hmm.
Sticking their hand up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of with.
How do you argue with the laser system?
Yeah, I'm kind of with keeping. I like the replay, but as far as the laser system, I am for a pitch clock just because it seems like the games can really wear on you as a viewer watching on TV. But as far as the umpire, balls and strikes, I mean, I don't think it needs to be implemented in that manner yet. But also another thing we had to deal with last year and here in Colorado was a lot of rainouts. I don't know if you guys are still getting a lot of rain up there. I know you guys are getting sunshine right now, but how do you feel about
rainouts were the killer?
Exactly.
The game of daily fantasy baseball has overwhelmed the fantasy baseball community. And say what you want, gambling, not gambling, whatever it is, but still, the rainouts in Colorado absolutely created havoc because you couldn't put your lineup in until you checked Colorado, which is usually a late game. It was the most frustrating time. The hitters that you want, first thing you do when you play daily fantasy baseball is you look and see if Colorado's home. And you look at the Rockies players and you look at the opposing lineup as well. But then you can't put them in until you're sure that it's not going to rain. If it rains, you don't get any credit for anything. So it created havoc last year. I don't know what's going on in Colorado. What's causing all the rain? Has the weather always been like that?
Geoengineering is the only thing I can think of. Just created weather to kind of combat things that because it's supposed to be hot. They used to show us videos in elementary school when I was a kid about how it would have been so hot right now, but I think with the implementation of geoengineering, they've really cooled it down and kept things. I don't know. I just think it's being controlled somehow, some way or another. It's they've been working on weather modification since I don't know when, but to them, I think more snow, more rain, the better. As long as it doesn't hurt things too much, I guess, because it kind of dries out really quick here. I mean, that's just my theory, but whatever. And as far as all the rainouts, I was going to get to the point that Colorado, and I don't know how you feel about retractable roofs as a whole. I think we need a retractable roof. How do you feel about retractable roofs?
Well, I'll tell you something. My wife and I, every year, we get in the car and we drive across the country, and we just go to stadiums and we do stuff like that. So we were going to go to a game in Arizona. I'd never been to that ballpark, and she says to me, "Hey, Lenny, why don't we?" I'm talking about me, not you.
Yeah.
She said, "Why don't we get a ticket to the all-you-can-eat section?" I said, "Oh, that's a good idea. Think about all the money we'll save.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got to be freaking hot. All right, we're gonna save money just on the drinks alone."
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the ballpark. We're sitting in the thing. It's the second inning, and I'm still drinking my first Diet Pepsi, and I'm not even thirsty. And here I'm supposed to be the baseball guru. I didn't realize that the dome was on.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was sitting inside. It feels a little weird. That was the first time that I ever sat in a dome stadium. I think there's a need for it in certain locations. It's all about bringing the fans in. You don't have, you got to have a dome in certain ballparks, otherwise the fans won't come. It's just too hot to sit in the sun. So I don't think it's about the quality of baseball or the fact that there's rainouts or the weather is too bad. But I do think that it's for the comfort of the fans. And that's the only reason for it. Now, I know in Toronto, they got the artificial turf, and there's a whole campaign to take that out. So who knows? It's all part of the game. We have domes. I think the domes are okay in certain climates. But for the most part, there's nothing like going to a game on a sunny day and just, sitting in there. And that's why I go to Arizona for the Arizona Fall League every year in November. To me, that's just like going to camp for a week. It's glorious.
Yeah, I drove by there. Actually, I was a week late to all the Rockies stuff and all. I seen the fields that they play on, and Arizona is absolutely a majestic place. I mean, you get those funny brown mountains, Camelback Mountain. You have palm trees and cactuses together, and it's like, where am I at? Is this artificial? And I don't know, it's just a different, majestic, beautiful place. Very hot in the summertime. Of course, I have family down there in the Scottsdale area, so I was able to go down there and visit and have fun and do all that good stuff. Last point I'd like to say here, and I don't know how you feel about scouting and when you're getting, say you were a GM or you're Birdage, when you're looking at players, do you just look at batting averages, home runs, RBIs, or do you look at runners in scoring position? And also on that resume, do you look at kids that have won in high school, won in college, or maybe they won in high school, not college, or won in college, and that's about it? They haven't won in the pros yet, but they have that on their resume. Do you look at winners? Do you look at situational hitters, or you just look at the wham bam numbers? Because those seem to be the ones that scouts really look at, but yet that doesn't make you a winner, per se.
Well, of course, every scout now relies on sabermetrics. There's no question about it. It does have a place in today's game. Now, when I was growing up in New York, and we used to play at the schoolyard, the Little League field, and had a choose-up game, my claim to fame was, even if I didn't know the kid who was standing there waiting to be picked, I always knew just by sight who had the good, who's the good player. I was a great Little League coach because I could spot some of these young Little League type kids in their, during a tryout session. I can just tell you. So to answer your question, I'm not a scout, but I go to the Arizona Fall League every year. I've done that for the last 13 years or so. I spend a week there seeing. The first thing I look at is field presence. Mm-hmm. And there have been some players over the years like Matt Laporta, Reed Bridniak, just to name two, that carried themselves like with no enthusiasm. Josh Vitter's another guy. Mm-hmm. Every time he hit the ball, he never even, it just looked like if it was a single, it's a single. He never braced himself in case the outfielder bobbled the ball. Field presence. How does the player look when he steps on the field? When I saw Andrew McCutcheon and Dexter Fowler, who played Colorado, the first thing, I saw them in the Arizona Fall League, first thing that I said to myself is, it's not are they going to be good, it's how good are they going to be. So field presence, Matt Wieters just looked like a man playing against boys. That's the first thing I look at. And look, I'm not trained to look at any other thing, but to me, that's a very important aspect of the game that sometimes gets overlooked. Some of these guys, some of these guys have a lot of natural talent, but the question then becomes, do they have all the tools, but do they have the tool case to put them in, meaning the brain?
Yeah, I mean, I call it the it. A lot of people call it the it factor. That's what we're going to go with today. I mean, if they have it, the fire, the desire, they play hard every time they go out there, the blue collar mentality, and then they have the skills, the talent, and then they have championships under their belt already, whether it's high school, whether it's little league. I mean, I like to, fish for those things because then you could really tell. Because I'm a huge believer in all those things, and then I'm a huge believer in the bounce of the ball, having the luck of, I mean, look at the Seahawks last year. They should have ran it on the 1 yard line, but leading up to that, look at what happened in the NFC Championship game. I mean, they have to have some sort of luck on their side, and then even the two plays before that horrible call, that ball that was batted in the air, thrown around, and then Curse comes up with it. That's the look that's the bounce of the ball, and I believe you have to have that. You have to have skill. You have to have heart, desire. You have to have that blue collar mentality. You have to have championships on your. You have to be a scorer. To me, sometimes the numbers are blown out of proportion. 300 batter, 20 home runs a year, 100 RBI guy, like too low. I mean, I'd always look at it and he was putting himself besides the team and saying that, oh well. I hope they can do good this year, and I hope I hope that they really live up to. I mean, who are they living up to? You too low, And he was a team guy, but he said some things that I was like, dude, what do you think? I mean, why are you putting yourself beside the team? And he was not clutch when he was here. I mean, a few times, but I seen him up numerous times with runners in scoring position, chance to take the lead or chance to win the game where he didn't do anything, and that was fine because some other guys would pick him up, but I don't know. That's just how I feel about certain things, certain players and stuff. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add? I mean, that's pretty much what I had here to go ahead.
I saw second baseman for the Minnesota Twins named Brian Dozier, and nobody knew who he was. And I'm watching a kid. I don't care if the guy gets 2 doubles, 3 singles, 3 home runs. That's not the issue. Mm-hmm. The guy, every time I saw him and I watched him play for 3 games, every time he got a single, I could see him rounding the bag, bracing himself just in case the outfielder may have misplayed the ball or just the slightest bobble, and bingo, he's on his way to second base. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of player. And you'd be surprised how many players just don't play the game that way.
Right.
So to me, the first thing that I look at to answer the question is that's the kind of thing, field presence and how they handle themselves on the field. And are they just backing up when they're supposed to and doing the little things? Do they understand how to play the game? Mm-hmm. Too many of those players get to a certain level on talent alone. Then they got to show me that they understand how to play the game. That's what I look for.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like players to look at the opposing team and figure out they're not going to have an error today or maybe one. And I'm just going to, if I hit it in the left field, I get a base hit, I'm just going to make it to first and that's it. Not really anticipating that the ball can be bubbled. It could be a bad throw in. I mean, there's all these different things that you should be expecting and anticipating in the game of baseball, and another thing, this is the last thing that I want to talk to you about, and I'm
very busy. I just want you to know I'm a very busy guy right now.
Yeah. So you have this whole thing with the whole HGH era, the human growth hormone, steroids, of course, and you had all that going on. Well, you have all these guys saying, or from back in the day, that were putting up all these numbers. I want to get your take on how fast were they pitching back then? What was the speed on the fastballs?
Probably in the mid-'80s. If you had somebody throwing in the 90s, it was a big deal. I remember it was like headlines when Bob Feller supposedly threw 100 miles an hour. That was just maybe one pitch in his lifetime, the only pitcher. So it was in the 50s that were throwing in the mid-'80s.
Right.
And then, of course, with the training, and of course the players are bigger now, mm-hmm. and the training exercises, and a lot more is known by the pitching coaches. Of course, now every team. This is one of the reasons baseball has changed so much. Every team's got multiple pitchers who can throw 95 to 100, and that's one of the reasons that the offense in Major League Baseball is down from the seventh inning on. You're bringing in a guy who throws 95. Then you bring in a guy who throws 105. Then you bring in a guy who throws 125. How do you expect anybody to hit that ball when they're doing it? So
Right.
it's really just a sign of the times.
Right, and the point I was going to get to is, okay, there was throwing softer back then, and those guys were putting up those kind of numbers. Well, the guys were beefing themselves up with steroids and stuff to combat the pitching. Do you think it's fair to say that that kind of equals out or cancels out? I know a lot of baseball players had to go to court because of all this, or no, you don't believe that?
First of all, anybody who thinks that the steroid era started in the last 20 years doesn't really understand the game. People have been using all kinds of stuff for a long, long time, including uppers and all that other stuff. And it's always been part of the game. And the Hall of Fame committee is going to be voting and releasing the Hall of Fame guys, and to exclude some of these players where there's no evidence of steroid abuse, to me, is absurd. You can't just. I saw. Look how big he got. He got muscles. So it's been the only thing that it really hurts. And I really think that if there was a poll taken, the fans of Major League Baseball would say, let them take it. I'd rather see home runs galore, the offense and all that stuff, and see somebody hit 100 home runs rather than the feeble game that they're playing today. But it's all about the records from the past that are being tarnished. Now there's no comparisons now. Right. Because the game is so different. But I'll tell you something. One thing that blows my mind about baseball is as we're talking about, everything is advancing, right? With the steroids and the training, and the players are bigger. It's incredible to me that when Abner Doubleday made the distance from first base to second base in whatever year it was, it was a bang-bang play to steal a base. The runner goes, the catcher gets the ball, he throws to second, he slides, you're out. Well, it's the year 2015. It's the same distance from first to second as it was back when Doubleday invented this game, and the players are bigger, they're 10 times faster, and yet it's still a bang-bang play. From that distance that they came up with, whoever did that, that's got to be the greatest mathematical equation in the history of the world, because the distance is the same and everything else has changed about players, and it's still a bang-bang play.
Wow, that's pretty, that's something to think about. Yeah, that's great.
You would think that they'd have to, all right, we got to make the distance a longer now.
Right, yeah.
But you've got guys like Billy Hamilton and Jose Reyes who can run a lot faster
than
they did in the 50s. But that's not it. It's still the same, and it's still the same play.
Right.
It's just, it doesn't make sense. It's incredible.
And we haven't seen a base stealer. We haven't seen a great base stealer in a while. I know we have some guys that are here and there, and they'll put up a lot certain years, but we haven't seen nobody great for a while. Maybe they're just bigger and slower, and should I say lazier?
Yeah, they're going to steal bases. And you got Jose Reyes there, who, look, I know he's at the end of his career, but in his heyday, Jose Reyes was former Met, and I always said that there was a period of time where I said that the only player I would actually pay to see was Jose Reyes.
Wow.
An electric player. Oh, absolutely.
Huge statement, Colorado. We're going to have to hop on board the Jose Reyes bandwagon, unless they get rid of him, of course, because I don't know what Colorado's doing.
Well, they're trying.
Yeah, exactly.
When they got him last year, they figured they'd build up his stats and then say goodbye, but it didn't work out that way. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Ian Desmond signs, especially if Reyes gets suspended. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. If Ian Desmond just signs for a year, just to reinvent himself.
Okay, Mr. Lenny, I'm going to leave it at that for today, and I'll be getting back to you probably on the internet, letting you know. Maybe we could talk again here in the future. I know baseball will be coming up pretty soon, here in 3 or 4 months. We hit the winter solstice, so once that ends. Well, not in New York.
Listen, I got to tell you, Lenny, it's been great. Absolutely a lot of fun. You're really do a great job. And yeah, with the exhibition season, with these spring training and everything, I'm available anytime to come on and talk baseball with you.
Cool, sounds great. Maybe we can meet down in Arizona and become a scout. Maybe someone will hire us.
Absolutely.
There you go.
I'm ready to go. So, hey, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
All right, mister. Take it easy. So right there, Mr. Lenny Milnick from New York, talking baseball with me. I know it's kind of off topic right now. We want to talk Broncos. We want to talk Denver Nuggets. But there were some things that kind of cross-reference there, the whole HGH thing. I want to know your take. Is it going on in football, or are they passing all these tests with some sort of different HGH or something they put, or maybe because it just seems like they're big, they're bulky, they have strong, huge muscles. I mean, the circumference of the cut. I just looks football players, baseball players, all players look huge nowadays, except for basketball. Of course, they're skinny. They have to be like gazelles to play like they do. And I was watching the Denver Nuggets, so we're going to touch on the Denver Nuggets, then we'll get back to football. But the Denver Nuggets last night, I was watching them at the Phoenix Suns, and I'd like to remind everyone, back when J.R. Smith was on our team, it was about 2010, somewhere around that year, we had a shorthanded lineup. We had a ton of players hurt. It was George Karl. J.R. Smith ended up starting, I believe. We ended up skunking, I don't even remember who it was, Oklahoma City, someone big. We ended up skunking them. Last night we had the same situation, and I was watching it on the internet, and I was watching the Suns stream, and they were talking about how it's not very uncommon for the Nuggets or any team to beat another team shorthanded. And a lot of people on Nuggets Nation were saying, oh, that's great. Aren't we going to, give Malone credit? And yeah, I give Malone credit and stuff, but we're coming off two horrible losses. This is, of course, we need a rebound win, and this is how it happened, whether we're shorthanded or not. Also, Randy Foye getting a lot of praise, player that I've criticized a ton. And, I love that he scores points. I love that he hits threes. He went 12 for 27, which, is about 40% around that mark. So isn't it bad? But he had to take 27 shots to get 31 points, and he also only had 2 rebounds. Now, the stats I always look at are rebounds, are the hustle plays, the blue-collar plays, and that's just what I look at as a fan, as a player myself, because I'm one of those guys who wants to be like Rajon Rondo in his prime, who wants to fill up the stat sheet, who wants to be that hustle guy, who wants to be that Rasmus is, or I believe if I pronounce his name around in the LA Lakers, Bill Laimbeer, guys like that. I want to be Dennis Rodman. I want to be that guy that gets all the rebounds, has assists, fills up the stat line, triple doubles, but has also 5 steals, has assists, has rebounds, is crashing the boards. Even at 5'10", I would crash the boards against a 7-footer. I don't care. I know I'd lose 90%, 95, 99% of the time, maybe 70% of the time if I'm lucky, but I'm one of those guys who believes that you have to hustle, and a couple of those times down, I was going to take a screenshot and take a picture of it so I could put it on NuggetsNation.com, but I seen Randy Foye. He was tired, yes. He looked like he was breathing hard, yes. The Nuggets were shorthanded, yes. But, I mean, he was just hovering around the three-point area, and, we did win. We did end up winning, but we lost, a huge lead, and it became single digits we won by a game we should have been running away with. But, yeah, I mean, it's just Nuggets turned into a perimeter team. And just like the Suns announcers were saying, in the third quarter we always collapse. But I think the shorthanded thing was a little blown out of proportion. This happens quite frequently in the NBA. It just seems like whenever you're shorthanded, you tend to take it to the other team. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is with that. If you're just working harder and if you just you want it more, and there's not that many guys on the bench, so you're just going to chuck it up as much as you can, and you're not going to be pulled. But yeah, I mean, I'm not giving Randy Foye a pass in this one. I'm not saying that he's what the Nuggets need. I'm not saying that he's great. I'm not saying any of that right now. I'm saying, yeah, that was good. I appreciate that out of Randy Foye. But what I don't appreciate is he's hovering around the three-point line, standing around. Watch players off the ball is what I always say in basketball. Then you can see the true player. You can see, what he's doing and whether he's going for, diving for a loose ball, or whether he's standing in the corner while another guy chucks up a three, or he's clapping for the ball. Give me the ball. He's standing by the 3-point line. Give me the ball. And then once the shot goes up, he just kind of looks in and doesn't crash the boards, And I'm not one to say that I haven't got lazy on the court out there, and because I've played basketball as 2 adult leagues. I've played a lot of youngster recreation leagues that I played in. It was a lot of fun, but most of those times, at certain points in the game, especially when we were down, I was chasing the ball. And I was going for rebounds, and guys were way bigger than I was. But guess what? That ball sometimes bounces the other way, and those big guys aren't there. And it goes right into your hands. Or you shoot up a three, and I'm a real believer in following your shot. And people, don't follow your shot. That means you're already saying in your mind that you're going to miss. No, follow through, jump, follow through, look at it, and then run towards the middle. I mean, no harm, no foul. I mean, the chances are the shot's going to bounce up a couple times, especially if you miss it, bounce off the rim, bounce on the backboard. I mean, you're going to have those seconds to crash the board, even if you're following through, taking a second, looking up at it, following through, flick of the wrist, looking at the wrist, trying to be cool. You know how the cool basketball players are nowadays. But, yeah, I'm not giving them a pass. I'm saying they did great. They did wonderful. Will Barton, a guy had said this on Nuggets Nation, also on Facebook. Are we watching the emergence of a star? And yes, we are. I seen him last year. The dude hustles his A off. He does so many things on the court. He tries to rebound. He tries to, he shoots threes, but he also drives the ball. He comes through with a lot of steals. We're watching the emergence of a guy who really wants it. And he has that dunk that says, "I'm here. I'm gonna be a star in this league." That emphatic dunks that he has, they're just, this is me, reminds me of like a young Kobe, and I'm not crowning the guy yet. I'm not saying that Will Barton is that. He's far from that, but, it's good to have a player like that can develop into somebody great and is developing into somebody great. And I like all our Euro talent. Jojic seems to be in the middle at all times. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Pachulia, or that's not his name. That was a guy on another team. But it starts with a P. He's our other Euro players. All our Euro players are hustlers. I really appreciate the fact that we do have these guys because they are hustlers. They are ballers. And Matt Miller, a lot of guys were saying, well, what does he do? And I was looking too. He doesn't really do much. I've seen him get a steal or two, maybe a rebound here and there. But, yeah, he doesn't really do much. But like somebody said, he's on a championship team. He won with the Heat. And, those are the players I'm looking for. I just got done talking about it with Lenny Milnick about looking for players who have won championships in the past. And I don't think that's a bad pickup. It's just hopefully he can help the team and not hurt the team with not putting up that many hustle stats, 3-point stats, what he's known for. But I like Malone. Malone has grown on me from watching his interview, watching him talk, actually. I like how thorough he is with the media. I like how he talks the talk, and he also tries to walk the walk. He's a very fiery fella. He has the, rah, he ain't like George Karl. George Karl was fiery too, but George Karl would sit back and kind of let things play out and just kind of like get mad and rub his forehead. Malone's up. He's up and ante. He's pointing. He's yelling. He's screaming at the refs. He's screaming at his team. I like that fire in him, and I like how he talks. And, like I said online, I hope the Nuggets make the 8th seed, and that's all I'm hoping for right now. Nuggets 8th seed, 500, because they were like, well, Malone, aren't you going to give him credit? I'm like, I'll give Malone credit if we're a 500 team, even if we don't make the 8th seed. If we come out 41 and 41, I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with 39 and 43. Let's take it a step further. I'll be happy with that. If that equals, no, I don't think that 39 and 44 would be 44, 34. I'm not doing my math right. I'm half asleep. It's 39 and 43. I think I had it right the first time. But I think Santa's in the air right now. He's in the other room. He's going to be giving everyone gifts today. So everyone gets a gift. It's like Oprah in here today. You get something. You get something. It's under your seat. It's under your seat. It's under your seat. But my name ain't Oprah. It's Lenny. Hey, you get something. You get something. You get something. We all get something. Put up a freaking stop sign in front of this guy. No, but I hope the Nuggets, got their 12th win, 12-17. So I can't say that Malone did great. I mean, I just can't do it, no matter if it was shorthanded or not. Pretty typical in the NBA to have that. But the East is rising, everyone. You have 10, 12 teams over there who are at 500 or above. And if they're under 500, it's only a game or two. You have the Orlando Magic surging with our old pal, Evan Fournier, our Euro player that we didn't let develop. He's over there doing a great job. And, just crazy things going on in the East. The East is rising, and the West is sinking. I don't know what's going on with. I mean, I think there's what are those things called in the boats? An anchor on the west, and there's a hot air balloon in the east, and the East is rising. So we have, I believe, a below 500 team, the Utah Jazz, in eighth seed in the West right now. So a team we lost to, but I mean the Nuggets. All we need is 3 wins right now. We got one last night. We need a couple more. 14-17 is not bad. Maybe we can get to 15 wins by the time we lose again. If we could just stay ahead of 2 wins, 1 loss. I mean, that's how I think of it in baseball, too, now that we're talking about baseball. If you can get 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins, 1 loss. If you win series, then you win. And in basketball, if you win 1 or 2, and then go from there. But yeah, in football news, we have a lot of playoff pictures going on this weekend. Head up to things. I know that if the Vikings lose and the Seahawks win, they'll take this. They'll swap. Seahawks will get the 5th seed. They'll end up having to play Washington. If Washington wins, you also have the Eagles still alive. I don't know if the Giants may have been eliminated. But you have the Eagles. You have the Washington Redskins alive. I know you have Carolina beasting right now. You have Arizona beasting. They're just. I mean, to watch them play, it's amazing to watch Arizona play because you had Kurt Warner. I remember those days, and it was amazing to watch them in those days. It just seems like Arizona is the resurrection of quarterbacks. I don't know if it's something in the air down there, being at 600 feet and not 5280 like we are. And in Denver, it just seems like the quarterback carousel in the last 10 years, since Elway, 15 years. We're looking for an Elway replacement. We're looking for an Elway replacement. Well, we found one, then we just throw him away, and surprisingly thrown away by Elway. And then we got Peyton Manning, and now we're going with Brock Osweiler because he's our young drafted guy, because it seems like Peyton Manning hit a wall, and he didn't practice, so he's not going to play this week. I believe the Broncos win this game, and we're going to have DeMarcus Ware back. It's going to be 2 of the best defenses going up against each other, but I think A.J. McCarron comes through with some field goals and a touchdown or 2. I believe that they come up with 16 points, and I believe the Denver Broncos come up with 22 points here at home. Of course, who knows? It could sway. Look at how many points the Pittsburgh Steelers put up on that Denver defense this weekend. It was obnoxious in the second half, 21-0, and that's what was going on with the Seahawks beginning of the year, and that it really hurts because you start out well, and then you can't get it done in the second half. And second half is where you get most of your football done. That's where it counts. The second half, fourth quarter. So many things change. I'm such a first quarter and even first half of the season type guy that I'll look at it and say, oh, they're 6-0. Yeah, wow, they're going to go all the way. And then just like the Broncos a few years ago with McDaniels, they were 6-0. And what they do, they miss the playoffs. I've come to learn, pay attention till the end, because I can be one of those ADD guys. Oh, wow, they're going to do it this year. Oh, look at that. They're going to. Now, I really make it a focus of mine to pay attention to any sport till the end. And if the Broncos can pay attention till the end, if they can just figure out a way to get that defense going again. And I think with DeMarcus Ware back, they're going to turn into that stout defense that they were, and they're going to be a lot better. Von Miller can't do it himself. We've seen it in years past. Him by himself is not. It's great, but it's not good enough to be that number one defense that they were. DeMarcus Ware is going to get A.J. McCarron. Von Miller's going to have Von Miller so much more. T.J. Ward being back, and of course the aggressiveness of Talib and Harris in the background there is just really going to help Denver be that core unit. I know they're missing Bruton with the broken leg. He played through a broken leg, but I think Osweiler's going to have a decent day. I just don't think that it's going to come down to what it was last week. I believe Denver will be up 22-13, and I think Bengals will struggle to get a field goal in the end. And that's how it'll end. It'll be kind of low scoring because these are some of the best defenses in the league. And yeah, Denver going to take the wild card. Definitely. Still have a chance at the division. I still say that. Isn't that funny? We're saying they still have a chance at the division. A lot of people saying that, man, I don't know if they'll win a division with the surging Chiefs. It's like the Chiefs are in first place right now. But it's actually Denver who is in still first place and controls their own destiny here. So let's not get it twisted, Denver fans. This is still a quality season that we have here in the Denver metro area. This is something that we can still capture if we get one of these next two games, and if Kansas City drops one of the next two. I know that they probably, we might. It might come down to common opponents because we went 1-1 against them this year. We beat them and they beat us. So we'll see what happens come Monday night. We have a whole weekend packed. Saturday night football as well. I don't know who's playing in that one. I'll have to pull that up real quick. We have Saturday night football. Don't forget to check out that. Of course, the NFL switching to Saturday. Washington at Philadelphia. This will probably determine the NFC East, of course. Carolina at Atlanta. And then come week 16, we're going to have tons of meaningless games. And, of course, all the seeds in the playoffs will be determined. Seahawks win. Vikings lost. Of course, they swapped there. They're the 5th and 6th seed there. And you have Carolina home field advantage, and you have Arizona. You have Bengals, you have Steelers, you have Patriots. What's the chances of Seahawks-Patriots rematch? What's the chances of two new teams getting in there? How about the Bengals? How about Dalton coming back and Carolina? And how about Carolina and the Bengals? That'd be cool to see. I know that, but you never know if it'll be these same old teams that tend to surge in the playoffs. Patriots, Seahawks, of course. But I know Denver should get the win this weekend. I mean, A.J. McCarron playing. I know a lot of people have high hopes on him, but I just don't think he's that guy. And like I said, until we see Tim Tebow back in the league, I will not be behind any of these backups that are undeserving. Sorry about that, everyone. So, yeah, we have the Denver Takeover coming up next. I'd like to thank my special guest, Lenny Melnick, for being in. We were talking baseball. Yeah, sorry, it's football season, but that's what he does, and he's very thorough with it. And I'd like to special thanks to New York and him and the great weather out there. Hopefully, they'll send that some of that great weather our way. We're stuck in the 30s. It's cold. My feet are cold. Hopefully, we can get off that. But yeah, thanks for everyone for joining me. Denver Takeover next is with Henry Archuleta. I will be on Monday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. Hopefully you get lots of gifts. Hopefully Santa comes to your house and eats all your food and you don't have anything left, so you have to go buy for some homeless people. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. Go buy from yourself because you might be homeless after you eat all your food. Does that make any sense? That still don't make any sense. So yeah, I'll be back at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time with Chris Brewer. He's going to be joining me, a one-time Bronco drafted in 1984. So we'll be joined by him, and it'll be a fun time. So we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. See y'all. Love y'all. Peace.
Man, that was get down. What happened? Jeez, you just like brought the whole fucking,
What?
the whole kitchen sink here.
What do you mean?
Get down. Jeez. That's the power of Lenny right there.